What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. A history could be made last night as the New Day challenged the Usos for the Undisputed Tag Team Championship and their last chance to secure their record as the longest reigning Tag Team Champions in WWE history. But that's not all, as the Smackdown World Cup begins. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at this week's edition of the Blue Brand, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including John Cena wrestling Logan Paul at WrestleMania, Sarah Logan accused of stealing another wrestler's gimmick, Triple H was ready to give up on the Judgment Day, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. As always, we will recap the matches, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, a record-setting reign. The Usos made history last night by defeating the New Day and presumably cementing the record for the longest Tag Team Championship reign in WWE. Both teams have had some magnificent matches against each other, and while there may have been better battles between each other, the stakes were never higher. Last night's match had the drama that only professional fans can create, but also had a big game feel to the record being on the line. As we mentioned on our website, records were made to be broken in wrestling, and its work nature make them inevitable as they can utilize for dramatic effect. Just as the New Day broke Demolition's previous unreachable record of 478 days as Tag Team Champions, the Usos appear to have broken the New Day's. If The Undertaker's record can be broken, nothing is untouchable. Assuming the Usos break the record, it's time for the WWE to take the belts off them, as their storyline stranglehold has served its purpose. Number 2, the World Cup kicks off. The Smackdown World Cup has a lot of potential, as seen with the first two matches of Escobar vs Shinsuke and Braun Strowman vs Jinder Mahal. Escobar's win was a reminder that he never wrestles alone, while Strowman's dominant win suggests he's the frontrunner, so naturally the WWE will find a clever way to take him out of the tournament. After all, the monster among monsters doesn't need a title, other than his current reign as social media jackass, so it should be fun to see how he's taken out of this tournament. Number 3, Shotzi wins a 6-pack. Shotzi's win in last night's 6-pack challenge to determine the SmackDown Women's Champion Ronda Rousey's next opponent was refreshing, not only because it gave Rousey a new opponent, but because it gave the women undercard some always useful TV time. While we'd like to have seen Raquel Rodriguez win, there's plenty of time for her to challenge Rousey. They also explored the Rousey-Shayna Baszler alliance when the Queen of Spades choked Shotzi out backstage when Shotzi unwisely turned her back to Baszler. Number 4, Lacey Evans is back. Lacey Evans is back, and while wrestling's former sassy Southern Belle came up short in last night's 6-pack challenge, it looks like the WWE is using the loss to begin a back-to-basics storyline where Evans re-evaluates her career. Truthfully, the WWE's booking of Evans has been so erratic that we're surprised she hasn't been released. Let's hope the WWE gives her a solid storyline, as Evans is one of the most underutilized workers in the company. She proved her worth when she feuded with Becky Lynch and Bayley, only for the WWE to drop the ball when Lacey returned from maternity leave. Number 5, the Raiders strike. Last night was a bad night for both Hit Row and Legado del Fantasma, as the Viking Raiders returned, and they weren't alone. Things started when Hit Row's B-Fab was set to take on Zelina Vega. The match never began as Sarah Logan showed up, distracting Hit Row and allowing Eric and Ivar to ambush them. The Viking Raiders made short work of Hit Row while Sarah disbanded with B-Fab. Zelina Vega bailed while Legado del Fantasma teammates got the beat down as well. This was well executed return, as Eric and Ivar took out anyone in their path, heel or babyface, a move that shows no one is safe. The Viking Raiders might want to rethink attacking two factions, but who's to say they won't bring in backup, perhaps even calling the Viking like Eric Rowan. And war is coming. The Bloodline versus the Brawling Brutes and Drew McIntyre is a feud that has more than reached its boiling point. It's bubbling over as the Brutes are at full strength and they have the added power of Drew McIntyre, a wrestler who still has unsettled business with Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. While it's obvious this one is headed towards a WarGames match, who will the Brutes and Drew bring in to even their team? Could Kevin Owens join forces to beat some sensitive Sami Zayn, or will someone else step up? But that was a good what about the baddest. Number 1, Liv Morgan continues to crumble. Liv Morgan bundled another spot last night, diving onto Raquel Rodriguez in an apparent effort to put Raquel through a table. Morgan looked like she'd landed wrong, and things degenerated into a major mess as no tables were broken and Morgan bounced off the table, flopping around like a fish out of water. Morgan's shortcomings in the ring have been mentioned here enough, but it's worth adding that if she can't perform basic moves without error, why does the WWE have her working a Daredevil style in what only can be described as an asinine attempt to get her over? Number 2, LA Knight, Bray's first victim. Last night's LA Knight vs Bray Wyatt interaction started off right, with the always arrogant Knight dismissing Bray and telling him to go play with his dolls. However, the prospect of a Knight vs White feud is a very poor choice to start with. Neither man has anything to gain from a program against each other, especially Knight. The WWE just restored Knight's NXT persona, so why would they jump into someone who is obviously well above his standing? If they built Knight up into an incredible foe, then maybe we'd change our minds. And number 3 is Hit Row vs Legado del Fantasma feud done already? As cool as last night's Viking Raiders beatdown on Hit Row and Legado del Fantasma was, it seemed to signal the end of the two factions feud. Perhaps this was just a momentary distraction to get Eric and Ivar over. If so, the WWE needs to keep this one going. If not, the WWE is leaving money on the table as this feud was just getting started. There was nothing downright ugly about last night's Smackdown, as it was a solid show. What did you guys think of the blue brand last night? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. Now first story looks at WarGames taking shape. Atop of today's news is what looks to be another build-up for Survivor Series WarGames. While nothing has been confirmed by WWE, the booking on Raw and Smackdown strongly suggests the fans will see at least 2 WarGames matches. The first looks to be between Damage Control and the babyface team of Asuka, Alexa Bliss and Bianca Belair. It's unknown who will join the faces, as Damage Control currently has Nikki Cross, Dakota Kai, Bayley and Io Sky. A rumor has it that WarGames will feature 5-on-5 competitions, so look for a 5th member of Damage Control. As we discussed on our website, Chelsea Green could be an addition to the group, while Candice LeRae could help the Hells. The second WarGames match looks to be the Brawling Brutes and Drew McIntyre versus the Bloodline. As mentioned earlier, the Brutes need a 5th member to even things up, and it could be anyone with a score to settle against Roman and company. Whether or not the WWE brings in a 3rd WarGames match, such as a Judgment Day versus the OC, is up in the air, but fans should know by now as Survivor Series is just 2 weeks away. Next up, John Cena wrestling Logan Paul at WrestleMania. Who will John Cena wrestle at this year's Showcase of the Immortals? With more rumors that Cena is returning to put the boots on for WrestleMania 39, talk inevitably turns to potential opponents. Dave Meltzer recently addressed the situation on the Wrestling Observer Radio, saying, "People worry about babyface and heel way too much. It really doesn't matter. I mean, people would cheer whoever they want Logan Paul, and that's fine. For mainstream, yeah, John Cena and Logan Paul, Roman Reigns and The Rock. Of course, it's 2 different nights." Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Probably means a lot more than John Cena against Austin Theory. Would you guys like to see Cena take on Logan Paul? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, was Triple H ready to pass judgment on the Judgment Day? Was Triple H hesitant about keeping the Judgment Day around? Well, according to WrestleVotes, I know back in late July or early August, whenever this whole shift happened, from what I was told, Hunter wasn't really cool with the Judgment Day. Not personally, but he just didn't like the idea. But since he's grown behind it, and I think that they're going to be around for longer than expected. The Judgment Day seemed to lose its focus when Rhea Ripley was sidelined with an injury, and the WWE never followed up to the group's attack on Edge with anything significant. That has changed dramatically as Dominic Mysterio is now part of the group, and their hated heels are now feuding with AJ Styles and the OC teammates, as well as the recently returned Mia Yim. The Judgment Day have bounced back from the low point following them kicking their leader Edge to the curb and floundering on Raw for weeks, but it's great to hear that Triple H is backing the group because they've become the top heel faction on Raw, as well as one of the best groups in WWE right now. Next up, Sarah Logan accused of stealing another wrestler's gimmick. Sarah Logan is back as part of the Viking Raiders, but all but some fans want to talk about their belief that Logan is ripping off another wrestler's gimmick. Ringside News was reporting fans could not help but notice Sarah's appearance to be much similar with the indie star Max the Impaler. Max made her name on the independent circuit and had a very brief stint at AEW. Sarah Logan's new character saw a striking resemblance with Max the Impaler, with fans blasting Logan over a new gimmick, calling it a 100% rip-off. Do you guys see the resemblance? Is it a rip-off? Let us know in the comments down below. And finally, R-Truth's Prognosis. Last but not least, it looks like R-Truth could be out of action for some time to come. Ringside News reported that R-Truth announced on social media today that he tore his quad tendon and is going for surgery today. Recovery time for that particular injury is around 6 months. That would put him out until at least April, depending on recovery. Now, we're sending our best to R-Truth and can't wait to see him back in the ring. But there you have it, folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.